Just finishing up business over
I know.
here.
I was gonna say
Just finishing up business.
We've been here for a while.
We've been here, but I got jobs to book, and I got checks and people and stuff.
Must be nice.
It's not easy being a busy businessman.
I like this shirt too. I like the texture.
I've got so many of these for forever. Kendall hated them.
They're crazy shirts. They're like bowling shirts, but you don't bowl.
Yeah, I know. I don't bowl, and she would call them that. Oh, you're going bowling, but now everyone's wearing them.
I don't think everybody's wearing.
All the cool kids are wearing all the cool shirts. People are wearing them. They're wearing them. They're out there. I've seen them. All
right. What was? Did you watch the fights last week?
Oh, the Baku fights in Azerbaijan. That was a horrible card. The reffing was the worst reffing I've ever seen in my life.
Why is that? Was there an instance? What stuck out to you?
Well, numerous. I mean, people are getting eye poked, grabbing the fences. Nobody's saying anything, which is generally the case when it goes overseas, especially any of the local caucus fighters. They're not getting a point taken. Remember Naimov with...
But it didn't really go like that this weekend. A lot of the caucus guys all lost.
Well, yeah, but
close decisions.
Not if the refs could have helped it.
Yeah.
The judges were weird. There's some weird judging going on.
Cunha fight. What did you think of that one? When he fought Curtis Blades, because you have a guy getting his hand raised who just got the shit kicked out of him for 15 minutes.
So I thought it was 1-1 going into the third.
I agree.
And then in the third, though, a lot of people were saying that, but I thought Blades was actually landing all of the better strikes in the third round. And then was doing stuff.
I don't know better. He landed more strikes.
He
not
landed
better
a lot
strikes.
of good, clean strikes. The thing is I don't think everyone's like, oh, he was hurt. I don't know that Blades was hurt at all. I think when people hit him, he just reacts to
I think he was hurt a few times.
I don't know, man. We've seen Curtis Blades hurt.
He got some wobbly legs a couple times in that fight.
But I thought he won the third round. Now, that said, that was a very close fight. And so I don't think either way,
just getting your hand raised, knowing you just got the shit kicked out of you, is a crazy dichotomy for the sport.
Yeah, but that's happened so many times. People out grapple and control and this and that and just stuff. But I didn't see it that way. I thought
I know round by round, Curtis Blades could have won too.
2-1.
It wasn't an insane robbery, but just based on criteria in the location that they were at, it just seemed like the wrong decision that they were gonna make.
I thought they were gonna go with Cunha being where they were.
Yeah.
I thought if it was in Vegas, I thought Curtis Blades wins that every day. Where they were at in Azerbaijan, I was like, Cunha is walking away with his hand
It's
raised.
just funny how MMA can go. Like, you look at the fight as a whole. He beat the shit out of Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
Beat the hell out of him. But yet Curtis Blades can still win based off that. It's crazy.
The one that I was shocked on, I think you were one of the few people that were on beating up Oban Elliott like that.
Oh, yeah.
But even you saying it, I think you're wrong.
No.
Because you said he's going to knock him out. And the way that he beat him was just grappling, utter domination.
But this is also what I said too.
Nuts.
I said these Koreans are way better than you think they are. They have skills that we haven't even seen tapped yet.
They are, but to see like that broad of just a mauling, striking, takedown, grapple, just a mauling.
Dude's a superstar. He's so good.
The other thing too is he looked like a man. And Oban Elliott looked like a kid. Like it was,
which is funny because Oban's bigger than him.
Yes, it was weird. It was just like I'm like, damn, like that's a man that's gonna. Oh, who do we have? People calling, man. People, I don't know, Daliwama Harman.
And then what about Jamal in the main event? That was about the worst main event.
That was really bad because
his performance, his
Jamal
attitude,
looked worse than I've ever seen at all. And then, the hell's his name? Roundtree. Beating him up and then would just like run and not do stuff and just like shuffle around and not engage and then beat him up. And then there's really Roundtree could have put a stamp on him and really.
Well, you're watching this round two. You're like, oh, he's building for a knockout.
We're done here.
There's nothing he can't hit him with.
Yeah. And then it was just weird. And then I don't know, man. I thought Jamal Hill looked slow and clunky and
he looked like one of the pro fighters when a new person tries out for the class and he was just beating the shit out of him and then kind of just teeing off whatever he wanted. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is going to end in a knockout next round. I mean, he's compromised on his leg. He's getting hit over the top. Like his body's getting hit. Nothing can work. And Jamal still looks awful.
Yeah.
So I think that ship has passed with the Jamal Hill.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Does anyone feel he's special anymore? Because he doesn't take, obviously, strength conditioning serious. There's only so long we can look at somebody's body and just go, nah, but I know they look bad, but they're very good.
Yeah.
At a certain point, he has to take care of his strength conditioning.
Yeah.
He has to take the sport seriously. You can tell he fights with no game planning. There's no setups. There's
Even
no traps.
His technique looked worse. It looks like he just sat on the couch and did nothing for a while because his I mean, his chin is always in the air, but it looks even further. His stance is always a little awkward, but he makes it work.
What's funny is he still had moments, and he still could have done something, but he just didn't throw anything either.
Yeah.
If I'm getting kicked in the leg and I refuse to check it, at least I'm going to throw something back at you.
But that Sadiakov Mota fight,
unbelievable.
That was one of the best things I've ever seen.
What did I tell you, though? I told you Mota's going to be competitive. You said, oh, it's going to be a wash. He kind of beat his ass for a while.
The first minute. 2 minutes, whatever it was, round one.
It was 5 minutes.
Even at the end of the first round, I mean, Sadiakov was moving and going. I think what actually hurt him was the body shot. I think there was a body shot in there that kind of sat him down a little bit. But not. And honestly, it's funny because those two got all of the bonuses, which is awesome.
I'm glad.
But it was such a bad card that was your option right there.
Oh, what a fight. Jeez, watching that was electric. All right. Do we have anything else? We want to jump right into the fights this week?
I think we can jump right in. We got our girl Gigi Canuto won.
Damn,
in LFA.
She cut the best promo of all time. I don't know how she did it. She looked into the camera like they were destined for her. She winked into it. I felt it through the screen. I felt
and it's funny afterwards. We were like, how did you know which camera to look into? She just there's 5 cameras in there and she knew exactly which one to get her eyes on.
Oh, Ed Soares is like, hey, this one, hurry. Yeah, they captured that perfect. She cut a great promo, looked amazing. She finished someone who hasn't been finished before. Damn, I was deciding between the over-under 1.5 the whole week. And I had a lot of under 1.5. I posted under 1.5. I felt it. Last minute, I threw a Hail Mary in with the over 1.5. Every single thing hit on it except for that for 8.7 thousand. Oh, crushed me. GG.
But she, the girl, we expected the girl to be really tough. I thought the fight was going to go. Gigi dominates for 3 rounds, but that girl is tough and won't die and just won't.
She reversed Gigi. I couldn't believe it.
Well, Gigi went for that sweep, and then just kind of fell on her back. That was just a dumb. She's like, I got greedy. It wasn't there, and I was just like, I can just do this. So she ended up kind of floating the top position, but she elevated. She swept her in 2 seconds, and
it's beautiful.
That was a wrap. So I mean, she's a superstar in the making.
Well, this week we have some crazy fights. One, I mean, without being, Topuria and Charles obviously is amazing. We have Talbott and Felipe Lima this week.
Just opening the card. That's the
insane.
First fight on the card. Let's get into these fights. Before you do, you guys, we're gonna go through the main card now. Prelims will be on the Patreon. So sign up. Make sure you guys, do that so you get all of our analysis.
We had a killer week too.
We actually did.
LFA, I crushed it. Fury Sunday, crushed it. PFL, or actually I didn't really bet on PFL, but Bare Knuckles, both of them crushed everything. So
even the UFC, I think you got 1 wrong out of your UFC picks, and I got 1 wrong out of my UFC picks.
Awesome.
Or something like
that. Let's keep it rolling. A lot
of good ones.
This week we have another Bare Knuckle in England, and those ones, if you know, those are boom or bust. Those are you can find some gold there. So.
Well, we've got UFC 317. First up on the card is Payton Talbott against Felipe Lima. And let me pull up these odds here. Talbott is plus 170 and Lima is minus 200. Let me hear your thoughts on this because I know you love some Talbott.
Well, this fight to me is super binary. I mean, Felipe Lima we've been seeing him. The kid is, what can't he do? He does everything perfectly. He's an incredible fighter. Great cardio, great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, great strike. I mean, there's nothing he doesn't do. Payton Talbott is the agent of chaos. He kind of does everything wrong. Chin is up in the air, hands are down, walks forward. He is on balance when he punches, but he kind of walks squared up, just walking at you. He does really good at finding openings though. He'll throw kicks just when he knows they're not going to get checked, and he's dinking and dunking you the whole time. I think this is a pretty binary fight. Either Felipe Lima takes him down and just has a clinic on him, or I think weirdly Payton's going to hurt him later in the fight. I think they're going to get into some firefights, and I think Payton's just a little more suited for the firefight if that happens. So very binary fight. I think, Lima has a complete MMA performance and shows overall game, or if it gets crazy in there, I think Payton's going to come out on the other end of that.
Yeah, I think Lima is the more technical fighter in all the positions. Any which way it goes, I think it's there.
I think only one guy is willing to die in there, though.
Yeah, but I feel like Lima slowed down. I don't remember if his last fight or the one before that, one of his UFC fights, where he definitely it
was against Naimov. He slowed down a lot, and still ended up winning. But he ended up
winning. But that was kind of a stupid Naimov-ing. Naimov was winning that fight and then really lost the fight. I mean,
and Naimov has a lot less on the feet to offer than Payton does.
I think people are overvaluing both of their recent performances.
I totally agree.
And first of all, the way that Raoni mauled him in the wrestling was insane.
But people also don't understand the level of Raoni's wrestling.
No, I know. We talk about it all the time. But that level, like the
shit he was doing in that fight, he was hitting inside trips, not getting it, and then re-wrestling, and then doing it backwards each time. It was unbelievable.
Insane. But and then even like Talbott, like you said, is kind of chin up. He's just there and hittable and stuff. But like you said, in the firefight, I'm going Talbott any day of the week.
Better chin.
Yes.
He's more comfortable.
And I think Talbott in the third round is going to come on heavy. I think he's going to do really well in that third round. And I think he probably learned a lot in that Raoni fight.
Has to, yeah.
I think we're going to see a much better fight.
Well, because this is the third fight that's happened now. Happened with Junior the whole first round. And then it happened with Nick Aguirre when he took him down, backpacked him. And then it happened in this fight. And this was the worst one because you had a guy who could be consistent and keep it for 15.
The issue with all of that is, you're right. Talbott loses round one. I mean, we've seen him get some round one knockouts, of course. We know that. Generally, he drops the first round. And then, like, can you do that to Felipe Lima?
Yeah, you don't want to start from behind.
Yeah, now all of a sudden he just has to win one more round.
Because he can do that with guys that are not as good as him because he knows at any point he can just win. It's kind of like Josh Van. Josh Van used to do that a lot against guys that were not on his level because the separation was too big. Now, he's starting fast. He's not letting guys steal a round off him.
I love Talbot and I want him to win, but I think the busyness of Lima and the technique of Lima are going to keep him safe enough for enough time that he ends up winning 2 rounds. And then I don't know that he's going to get finished in the third.
Like it's going to be a great fight coming down to the wire. You're squeezing your cheeks, but Lima still gets it.
I think so. And which is insane to me to even think, because I'm really big on Talbot. I really am. But I think the level of technique, toughness, and calmness only gets you so far. And then you do actually have to be that technical. I think Talbot's an athlete. I think he has a granite chin. I think his cardio is, I don't even know if his cardio is great. He's just so calm in there that it doesn't matter. I got to go with Lima on this one. And it makes me sad to even say that.
I think I'm actually going to go with Talbot. This isn't one I feel ultimate faith or confidence in. I'm going to go with Talbot. I feel like for some reason, Talbot's style is going to get Lima away from his game plan.
I could see that, and I hope it happens because I like Talbot.
I think it is because I think with Raoni at least is smart enough to know that he doesn't have the chin to stand with Talbot, so he had to wrestle for his life. But I think Lima can stand with Talbot, and I think it's going to be really close, and I think that's going to get him in some trouble.
Okay. Next up.
Wait, we started prelims?
No, that was the main card. That's the first fight of the main card.
I see. Okay. I thought you meant they were opening up the prelims. I was about to say.
No. They're opening up the main card with Talbot. All right. Next up on the main card, we've got Beneil Dariush against Renato Moicano. Dariush is -104. Moicano is -116. This is one of my, honestly, this whole card is a banger. I want to see, though.
This is the old fight, though. This is like.
No, it is, but they're grappling. Watching the way that Moicano, if you're a fighter out there, or honestly, even just a cap or a better or whatever, just a fan, watch Moicano's last few fights minus the Islam fight and watch the technical prowess of him on the mat. It is gorgeous.
How's he going to get it there?
So I'm not talking about this fight. I'm just saying, look at Moicano's technical prowess and the way that he gets people down.
It's that
takes the back
half guard that he does, that lockdown half guard from the top. It's incredible.
And he just stifles people. And then the other thing though is a lot of times when people go to get up, they go to turn, and so often people are willing to go to the back. He is not. He goes in front of the face, cross faces, and puts you back on your shoulder blades. Then he gets a body triangle and he sets damage. I love it. And then you watch Beneil Dariush against the Gamrot fight, the most amazing, beautiful display of defensive wrestling.
Especially watching how good Gamrot is.
Down. I mean, it was great. So then now, all right, so we've got a grappling situation. I think Dariush is a better grappler. I think
I would 100% agree.
And I think that
doesn't mean that Moicano can't win the grappling but overall.
I think he's a better grappler. I'm not worried about him getting mounted and body triangled and stuff. But then, so now it comes down to striking. All right. And where do we go from here? And Moicano, everybody knows Benny's chin is suspect at this point because he's been knocked out a couple of times, but I don't think Moicano's chin is that much better. And he gets a little rocked.
It's a lot better than Benny's. If you need a reference, look at the RDA fight where he ate everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, but then you look at some of the fights. Look at the Drew Dober fight, and he was not wearing those punches well.
But he hung in the fight. He didn't go out. Benny's going out.
No, but here's the thing: is when Moicano gets hit, he shoots, and that is he can't do that in this fight and win.
My thing is, do you think Benny can really touch him?
I think so. You watch even Benny in that first first part of the Charles fight. He is throwing some solid 1-2s down the middle. Like he is firing. And I don't think Moicano hits the way that these other guys hit who are putting him out. Arman and even Oliveira. And I think the speed is going to go in Moicano's favor early, but he fades a little bit with those grappling exchanges in the stand-up department. His stand-up looks really good round 1. Round 2 and 3, his stand-up is not as good because he starts grappling.
How many grappling exchanges do you think we're going to see in this fight? Because I think we're not going to see any.
I could very easily see very few.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then, but I actually think Benny's oddly enough going to win a lot of the stand-up exchanges. And I think he's going to win in the clinch because he has a good clinch and he will force the clinch.
I can see, but the stand-up exchanges, to me, there's a lot of variables here. Benny won, yes, his chin. Mm-hmm. He hasn't fought in so long. He's not getting younger. Yep. He's looked 80 since he was 20.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's on borrowed. He's Benjamin Button here. His chin is suspect. His cardio is suspect. Even against Charles, right? He went all out. He adrenalined himself real quick. So those are the last 2 performances you have, and now he's coming back to fight Moicano, who's been active. He's been fighting for titles. And that's actually another thing that that's the last curse that we have. Actually, fight for the title, you come back and lose your first fight. But to me, Moicano's faster. He's sharper. Everything Benny does is always like looping, and it's wide and it's around. And especially in a opposite stance, I see those straight punches of Moicano getting to the target a lot faster. I like him in the stand-up department. I don't think we see much grappling.
It's so weird because watching tape, I was like, oh, he's faster. And we kind of assume the stand-up is going to go to Moicano. Like that's just kind of right off the bat.
We assume, but everyone's going crazy with Benny as a striker. Like they're like, he's a Muay Thai black belt.
I've never heard anybody talk about his striking. But like his, so he's faster. We've been seeing the performances. I don't know why. And even Benny slows down. He definitely slows down and gets slow.
These are similar guys. Yeah.
They're very similar. I don't know. I feel like if the fight doesn't get to a finish for Moicano, I feel like Benny is going to win the rounds. He finds a way to win rounds. Moicano's a phenomenal finisher. But I think if he doesn't finish Benny, I think Benny wins a decision.
I think this is going to be a really close fight either way. I think it's probably going to go decision.
So. Yep.
100%. Just 2 ultra savvy vets. I think we see it play out on the feet.
Yeah. And I think if Moicano was a little younger, he might be able to put a little bit more heat and hate on some of those punches.
What about Benny doing a grappling game plan?
I think it'd be the smartest thing he could do.
That would be the smartest.
I think he could easily maul Moicano.
And Moicano will chill on his back.
Yeah, he'll hang out.
Shit. Dude, I'm actually going to switch to Benny because, the grappling, to me, the advantage is going to be so big there.
Yeah.
The stand-up on the feet, we're talking about, it's close. I think Moicano has better hands. Benny's got better kicks from range. But I think that grappling, if Benny goes offensive.
I think the opposite stance is also going to give Moicano a little bit of trouble in terms of not being able to throw that calf kick the way that he wants.
Good point. That he relies on that a lot.
Yeah, and just he likes that body shot, which is going to kind of almost negate it because they're same side.
And he'll get cracked too. I mean, with a right hand. A left hand.
I think all things point that Moicano's they're the same age, but the younger, fresher, faster guy.
He's just a more active guy, and he looks younger just because of the gray hair.
Everyone looks younger. Like dinosaurs look younger than Benny Dariush. But I'm going Benny. I'm sticking to it.
All right, I'm gonna stick on Benny too. I like that. It was a very close toss-up fight for me,
and I'm not
dying on the
saying,
hill.
hey, mortgage your house on this. Like it's a close fight, and we'll see where we're at. This next fight's a good one. It's the last kind of minute replacement. We've got Joshua Van and Brandon Royval. Royval is plus 105, and Joshua Van is minus 125.
Okay,
give me your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so I have a comparison. You tell me.
Hold on, I got to see something first. I have a scratch on my nose, and it hurts, and it's like really bothering me.
Okay.
We're jiu-jitsu in this morning, and I punched a rear naked so hard to like push somebody's hands off that my own thumb like caught the inside of my nose and like scratched it deep.
Ouch.
It really hurts. Like How stupid is this? This is what happens when you get old. People like
just every little thing.
Well, I cut myself. It's one thing if you cut me. It's another thing if I cut me. We're just getting stupid. All right.
The gentle art. I love it. All right, Josh Van and Brandon Royval. So this fight, tell me if Josh Van reminds you of a certain somebody. And they've already fought. Royval versus this person fought. I look at Josh Van. He's a little smaller, compact, really fast hands, good grappling altogether. He reminds me a lot of Casey Kenny.
Okay, I could see that.
Just he's like shorter, very clean, good hands, calm in the pocket all the time.
Look alike.
They look exactly alike. Probably the same future too. But it reminds me of a Casey Kenny. And then watching that fight back, I mean, Royval tried all his jiu-jitsu stuff, all the crazy, wacky, zany stuff, and Casey just kind of threw him around and was just like,
when did Casey and Royval? Oh,
LFA for the championship.
Yes.
It's a 5-round
fight.
fight.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
So I see this fight going just really similar. I know that was at 135, whatever, but Josh Van is so good. I mean, the way he puts body shots together, I think his striking is infinitely better than Royval's, and he's the one guy that can actually match Royval's volume. But I think he's got a lot more power. He's become so calm, so composed in the grappling everywhere. He looks the part. His sweeps are excellent, everything he does. And my issue is Royval just doesn't have the wrestling to be able to make this into his world. If he wins, I think he wins by sub. He's very crafty and he's got some tricks up his sleeve, but I don't see he's always going to get Van down and keep him down for extended periods of time. So I got Josh Van.
Okay. Give me some Brandon Royval times 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't think I would do that. And Royval, I like Royval, but I've been critical of him in the past, mainly his wrestling.
He's a great fighter now. He really is. He knows what he's good at.
But he would always just spam stuff and have zero rhyme or reason. It was too much, and then he's on his back and dumb shit. He's kind of leveled out a little bit of that and has gotten a lot better.
He's got a process now, and he knows when to pick up the pace, and he's a very good fighter.
Go back and watch Charles Johnson versus Josh Van. It was a beating from start to finish. Like,
yeah, I know.
Josh Van couldn't get going because the volume, the amount of stuff that Charles threw at him.
You know, Josh was winning that fight, correct? Before the knockout?
I don't care. I don't know if he was. Like, I'm watching that whole thing, like, and I remembered him winning round 1 and then round 2 losing. Then I watched it back and I was like, dude, Charles Johnson did a lot in that first round. And Van, man, so many low kicks and movement. He's throwing so much at him, and Van shells and shells and shells and gets hit. And then he'll come back with stuff. But now you're going against Royval, who is Charles Johnson 17.0 and is going to throw so much more, is so much faster, might even be taller than Charles Johnson. He throws so many more knees up the middle and isn't as tentative. And then if Josh gets anywhere near Royval is going to be attacking chokes like crazy. Like, even I was rewatching the Tyra fight. I mean, even Tyra was bailing on some takedowns because Royval's immediately grabbing the neck and going and attacking stuff. And I don't think the wrestling is going to matter.
But Josh isn't going to shoot wrestling, so what does that matter?
Well, you just said it. You think he's going to ragdoll him and throw him around.
No, I mean defensively.
Oh.
I mean, when Royval's trying to get off his grappling offense, that's all that's going to happen is Josh is going to keep calm, counter. He's got very good...
Does Royval ever offensively grapple? He only defensively grapples.
So, Royval?
Yeah.
So how's he going to get it to the...
Just volume and spamming everything you can spam. And
against the spam king? Against the body shot king?
Look, man, I love Joshua Van. I think people are underestimating Royval. His cardio. Josh Van, he kind of does what Talbott does a little bit, in the sense where he's okay losing round 1 because he's kind of downloading, and then he lets people wear out. But Royval's not going to wear out. Like, you can't let Royval's going up 1 round. I think in the first, and then now it's does Joshua Van find the reads and really put everything together in round 2 and 3. You know, I like the tall, more active, more dynamic Royval to win this.
This being a 3-round fight is a tragedy.
Yeah, it really is.
I think what's going to happen, and Royval's going to spam that jab, and he always throws it like this. He throws it always like this. And the issue is, I see, is that Van is small and he's got a low center of gravity and he rips body shots. And when you keep spamming this lazy jab over and over again, it's going to open up that body. And that's on the liver side because he's a southpaw also. I think that body shot is really, really, really going to hurt Royval when he keeps going like this, like this, like this, like this. He's going to get ripped. I think he's going to get hurt.
I could see it. It's not the craziest thing because Joshua Van is phenomenal. I think Joshua Van is very good. But I think Royval has actually become a really good fighter as well.
He's amazing. This is a high level fight. Also, you have the difference of two demeanors too. Royval is the most emotional guy ever in between rounds, in the fight, after the fight, before the fight. Van's like I don't even think the dude knows he's fighting in the UFC. He just thinks someone's giving him money. Like,
yeah, but I think the other thing too is this is International Fight Week. There's going to be a huge crowd. I think Royval is going to have the big crowd moments, and some of that stuff plays.
I don't know. I've been to a few Josh Van fights. He gets the crowd going.
Nobody talks.
All right, what do we got next? You got Royval. I got Van head to head.
All right, what do we have? We've got Kai Kara France and Alexandre Pantoja in the co-main event of the evening. Pantoja is minus 252 and Kai Kara is plus 212. I actually want to hear your thoughts first, and then I'll go after because I'm curious about a couple of things.
Pantoja is overpowered, man. He's a force. But how I think this fight's going to go is we're seeing a guy like we watched the Usyk fight, and Usyk has proven to be he's phenomenal, but he's not as good as we thought that he was.
I think he is as good as we thought. I think he's not as durable as we thought.
There's my point. Okay, and he makes mistakes, and he did make a mistake in the Pantoja fight. The thing about Kai Kara France is he's probably not as sharp of a striker as Usyk. Usyk is a sniper, and he's clean and makes reads. He's probably not as sharp as Usyk, right? He's kind of overhand. But what I think is going to be huge here is the takedown defense and the calmness and the willingness to get back up. I think Pantoja for round one, he's a dog on a bone. And the thing about Pantoja is he trusts his cardio so much, even maybe when he probably shouldn't trust his cardio that much, right? It's like, dude, chill out. You don't need to throw 100 punches round one and squeeze a body triangle for 5 minutes. Like, chill a little bit. I think he's going to be all over Kai Kara round one. And Kai goes down round one. But then round two, round three, round four, round five, he starts to get better and better and better, and especially as people fade. And we saw in the Usyk fight, Pantoja started to fade later on. He's got that very blitzing style, and Kai is clean, and he throws hooks, check hooks, right hands. I think round one's bad for him. Round two is going to get a little sticky. I think towards the end of round two, we see Kai start to defend takedowns and kind of do what he did to Albazi, start to press forward on Pantoja. I love Pantoja. I think I like Kai in this fight. Just literally takedown defense, putting a stop to him when Pantoja runs forward. And I think we're going to see a new champion on Saturday.
Man, I thought I was crazy because I was thinking, almost verbatim, that is kind of my breakdown. Like, I'm not kidding.
You need a guy with good takedown defense as the first layer.
Yes, and Kai has good takedown defense and good
stand-ups,
rear naked choke defense, and he knows to get back up. Brandon Moreno hit him with that body kick that just was,
what can he do?
Hey, what do you do right there? And that Albazi fight was close. That was
most people thought that Kai won.
Yeah,
we didn't have a tie to Amir at the time. I bet on Amir at the time. I thought that Kai won pretty clearly because it was a decisive shift in the fight. You felt a guy getting grappled, and then all of a sudden the other guy's going forward, and you have no answers.
And the other thing I don't think you mentioned about Usyk, or the comparison between Usyk and Kai, is he's more durable. That's another thing is I think Usyk is very good, but I almost think he needs to move up to 135.
Have a little more brain on
have a little bit more neck and fluid in there. And I think
he's got the frame for it too. Kai doesn't. Kai's a true flyweight.
25er, yep. But I like Kai to withstand a very heavy barrage early.
He's gonna have to go through hell.
But Pantoja I'm shocked that Pantoja has done as well as he has in these title fights, considering the style that he employs, where it's just
all gas, hard grappling.
You know what it is? It's strike his Duplessis. It's literally, let's just go see who gets more tired. It's just
he literally punches just like Dricus. They square up their stance and they throw both punches at once.
He's the more grappling version of Dricus, who's a little bit more striking version, but they're both very similar. And it's shocking to me that Dricus has done so well considering this crazy style that you expect, somebody's going to clip him somehow.
I think there's a really big difference, though, between the two weight classes. And what I mean by that is 85, that is not a strong division whatsoever. Yeah. And you have a lot of guys that get by on speed and power, not on technique. Whereas the 25ers, you have guys that are going to beat Pantoja, like an Ursig, who are just sharp and tacticians and class and defense. And it's not just all physicality.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm agreeing with you, is that Pantoja, I'm surprised he's won everything he has, because he operates.
Yeah. And he's not the most athletic guy either. Like, he's clearly strong and can wrestle well, and his jiu-jitsu is great. But in terms of just athleticism, like,
he's decent.
I'll rank him probably number 10 on the top 10. You know, I have to go through and see who's, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think Kai Kara is going to win it. I think it's going to be a decision. And, but again, you know, we say that with Dreykus all the time, and you think he's going to slow down, he's going to get clipped.
And never does.
And then he doesn't. And Pantoja's at ATT, and those guys never get tired.
Yeah, but also the city kickboxing guys, they have pretty good gas tanks too.
They do. The difference, though, and this is actually funny, between the city kickboxing guys and the ATT guys, is the city kickboxing guys just don't ever look tired. It's almost like their technique, and they're so calm, and they're just like, boom. The ATT guys look death, gas, tired, and then they just revitalize.
They still have more energy than the
the power bar goes up in between rounds, and then, you know, they do it.
I'm just gonna be real. I love Pantoja. He's a little pirate. I've got to train with him. That dude, it's not like humanly possible what he's doing. No. Like, the grappling, as hard as he is, and I've grappled with Pantoja before. I know how he goes. There's nothing light about it. It's all squeezing, and it's all strength all the time. Can't do that for 25 straight minutes and not be carried out on a stretcher. It just doesn't happen.
Okay. I'm with you, Kai, as well, for the upset win. And then now we've got a main event. We've got Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. The odds here, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, there's no ladies watching.
Oh, there's ladies.
There's a woman. Hi. We've got Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria. You guys go check out the Patreon if you haven't before we get into this. Sign up. It's $25 a month. I waste $25 a day on Starbucks.
Easily.
50.
But we made a ton of money this week. So everyone who played stuff paid for subscription for a long time.
Paid for more Starbucks.
More Starbucks.
Check it out. All of our picks will be there. And then, of course, all the prelims. We've got Ilia at minus 450 and Charles at plus 350. And this one, I mean, we know, like, Ilia's the A side. Like, there's, I think Ilia wins this. All right, I think Ilia wins this. I think.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, just right off the bat, I think he does. But I think there are a lot of paths for Charles to win this.
A lot.
And
I laid up in bed last night thinking about this for like 30 minutes, and I'm thinking we've all decided so free and clear. Oh, Ilia's going to win.
100%. That's exactly what it is.
We've all decided because we think about a prospective matchup between Islam Makhachev and Ilia, and we're like, yeah, Makhachev is running from him. Ilia was obviously going to smash him. We saw what Volk did, and then we saw what he did to Volk. So I think in our minds, we're like, done. It's over. I honestly like Ilia in a fight against Makhachev a lot better than I like him in a fight against Charles.
Yes.
Charles is fucking dangerous.
Well, the thing is, Charles is going to bring knees up the middle.
Yep.
And he's going to throw straight punches.
Great jab.
Right off the bat. Yeah. And now if Charles hadn't been knocked out and hasn't been kind of beaten up a little bit like he has recently.
If he had a granite chin, I'm picking Charles.
Right? Any day of the week. That's the thing. Any day of the week. And we saw him put on pretty late against Arman.
He looked great.
In their fight. And so now it's really, is Charles' chin as bad as we think?
I kind of have a theory.
Give me the theory.
Okay. Charles' chin used to be really bad.
Yeah.
Like, every fight, you just knew he was going to get knocked down 3 times and then come back to win. It was like half the fun of watching a Charles fight. It's like timing your bet.
Yeah.
I think that guy's on so much gas now. I think his chin is revitalized. Doesn't mean you can take shots from Ilia, because Ilia obviously hits like a truck. But I'm thinking about this too. I couldn't stop replaying in my mind. I know every show this week is going to point to the Jai Herbert fight when he knocked down Ilia. Yep. That's not what I want to point at all. Actually, what I'd like to point at is the Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler fight. Just this beautiful double leg. where he shoots in, he shoots on a knee, and he wraps the butt, lifts him, dumps him, takes his back. To me, that's the big difference in the fight here. Standing, I think obviously Charles is going to feel the power, and it's not comfortable. And his defense is not the best ever. He's a very Muay Thai, shell up, kind of defend around the edges. And I think Ilia is going to find his spots. But if Charles starts grappling, I get it. Ilia is a good grappler. Bryce Mitchell took him down. Bryce Mitchell's moving down to 135. Charles is tall. He's huge. He can wrestle. His jiu-jitsu is second to none. I don't know that this is so easy for Ilia as we think that it is. I think the best way to go about this is Ilia 1-2-3 knockout, something like that, because obviously that's clear path. Other than that, I feel like it's kind of dog or pass, because I think Charles can.
Yeah, no, I think there's a good case for Charles to win this in a lot of ways.
He can hurt him standing.
He can absolutely hurt him.
And he can out-grapple him.
The issue, though, is like we said with both of their chins, Ilia had been hurt early in his career, but he has not really been hurt since.
He's been hurt several times. There was a fight. It was pre-UFC.
No, but that's what I mean. Before the Jai Herbert and before, he's been hurt a bunch.
Yeah.
And then he got on the same stuff that Oliveira's on, and their chin is just all
they're
of a
sharing.
sudden.
So this fight's going to decision. What are the decision odds on this? Has to be insane.
Oh, my gosh. I can't even fathom that. But
what would a decision look like with Ilia?
I don't know. But the thing with Ilia, again, if you hurt Charles early, I think that's the best shot to knock him out. But Ilia's kind of a slow starter as well. So he kind of, he dropped probably the first round of Volk just by
inactivity
and Volk just leg kicking him and moving. And then he starts to pick up, not like I think he would necessarily have, but he just is a slow starter. And so now I don't think it's going to matter in terms of like rounds and this and that, but once you're loose, you're less susceptible to get knocked out. It's that first round, that tension, that really gets you going. And so I think that's going to help Charles a lot. Man, I want to see Charles win this. I really do. I think Ilia, I've got to go Ilia. Just the brain says that Ilia wins this. Like, it just is what it is to me. Because I don't know, man. Like,
I know how talented he is, but I sat in bed. This is actually the same thing as when Charles fought Beneil. And Charles had looked bad in the fight before. Beneil looked amazing against Gamrot. And then we all went, Beneil's going to smash him. Like, there's nothing Charles can do about it. He's going to get smashed. And then I remember the day before the fight, I was like, wait a minute. This is Charles Oliveira, and he's not the guy he used to be. He used to be very guard player, very off the wall, and he just had such crazy tricks that he would win fights. But his fights against Michael Chandler, his fights against Arman Sarukian, he's making great decisions. He does everything well now. He's not a crazy guy. I just laid in bed and I was like, man, I bet Charles Oliveira knockout in the Benny fight, and I was like, this was the most obvious thing in the world. I
remember that fight, and people are like, who's going to win? I was like, Charles is winning. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that was one I actually felt confident of, less so than
I get it. I know Ilia is the truth. I know how good he is. I think he'll probably find some special aura and end up winning. But, like, we're talking about a guy who's moved up 2 weight classes in his career. He's not a big guy.
Yeah.
You and I were with him when he was supposed to fight Jourdain, and you kept making comments like, he's tiny. And Charles, I mean, Jesus Christ, they have to have a exorcism every time he cuts weight. He's like naked, and they're all taking turns, relieving him so he can cut out the last few ounces. Like, that dude's big for the weight. So,
man, are you going to convince me to go Oliveira on this?
I'm going to go Oliveira, dude.
Are you?
I'm on the other side.
Man, I don't hate that. I just, the thing that worries me is that, Ilia is just,
he's that good.
God, he's that good. Now he's not with his longtime coach anymore.
He's rich as hell now. We had that conversation before.
I wonder if that changes something, because we know that Oliveira, with money, without money, fame, all of it, he's going to show up and fight.
He's at that gym probably more now than he ever had then.
Yeah. I'll go Oliveira with you. I'll go.
We're going to be the only podcast to go Oliveira. You know that, right?
No.
We're going to take shit for it too.
I don't look at any other podcasts literally ever. I don't care. I've never.
We're going to take some heat for this one.
Okay. I don't care.
It's Charles Oliveira.
Any other podcaster that wants to give me heat, I can kick your ass. So fuck off.
Wow. Well, just like that, guys, we like to have fun here. Go sign up for the Patreon. Thanks for subscribing to the YouTube. Tell a friend. That's been the Main Card Breakdown. Follow us on Patreon.
Everyone's going to try and fight me now.